Morning, good morning. Don't you love a Monday? Now, before you roll your eyes at me and shut this off, I didn't always love Mondays either. I remember the days not too long ago where I had the Sunday scaries trying to get everything done before a week that I knew was just going to throw up in my face. I'd look at my calendar and want to vomit because of all the things coming my way and just felt overwhelmed before the week even started. But you don't have to feel that way. So today I'm going to give you 3 ways you can get back to loving Mondays.
As women, it's easy to feel overscheduled, overtired, and some days just over it. It's time to ditch the guilt, still get things done, and have time left for ourselves and the most important people in our lives. How do we do that? You're about to find out.
Hello, hello, and welcome. My name is Jenna Pichet, host of The Other Side of Busy. Here we share biohacks, mindset shifts, and calendar control strategies to help you find the other side of busy. And what does that mean? Well, especially when we run like crazy, we say we're busy, but maybe we're not doing the right stuff. And that's probably why you're not loving your Mondays. So, have you heard this term, the Sunday scaries? That feeling of dread after your weekend when you're just like, I just had so much fun, but now I have to go back to work. Now I have to get back at it tomorrow. There doesn't have to be a have to. It can be a get to, and this is a mindset shift. So if you find yourself really struggling to get up and go to work on Mondays, there's something that isn't right. There's something that isn't aligned. Maybe you used to be lit up by this work, but now you feel you don't have control of your calendar or you can't get the real meaningful stuff done. Well, today I'm going to share with you 3 ways you can get back to loving Mondays so you can feel that light again to go to work, to go to business, to really feel lit up and fulfilled by the career that you used to love. All right, but make sure you stick around until the end where I'm going to share with you a 15-minute practice that you can do that will really transform how you look at your week. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. The first thing that you can do to get back to loving Mondays is to stop getting stuck in the busy work. So, what do I mean by the busy work? The busy work is the stuff that everyone else throws at you that this needs to get done and this needs to get done and this needs to get done. They're the $10 tasks that aren't moving the business, your team, your career forward toward your dreams. And they are just soul sucking things. So for me, this is the admin stuff. This is the getting stuck in doing the paperwork, getting stuck in doing the legal or the bookkeeping. Maybe it's something different for you. But when I said the busy work, the soul sucking work, what came to mind for you? I have a whole podcast about how to stop doing the work that you hate. But ultimately, the way that we stop hating our Mondays is to make sure that we're not the ones doing the work that we hate. We got into this job, into this business, and into this team for a reason. So, what are those things that you love? What are those things that light you up, that charge your energy when you get to do them? Now, there might be a few of those things that don't move the business forward, but you still love them. But there might be some that have a huge impact that you absolutely love. This is your desire zone. This is the high impact battery charging work. So just take a moment and list. If you could only do 2 or 3 things as a part of your business, as a part of your team, as a part of your career, what would they be? What would you want to do? What is the get to of your week? That's the desire zone. Those are the things that you uniquely are qualified to do with your energy, with your power, with your expertise. So, why, when you feel the energy of these amazing things, are you letting the other stuff that feels heavy and that doesn't have a big impact keep you distracted? You see, people say that they are spending their time. And while, yes, that's true, we do that sometimes unconsciously, kind of like we spend our money unconsciously sometimes. But when you think about investing your time, you realize that everything we put our time into is a choice. So I am choosing to invest it in that busy work, in that stuff that drains me, that doesn't fill me up, that doesn't move me forward. But the beauty of it being a choice is now you get to choose differently. You don't have to feel guilty about what choices you made in the past because now you have new information and we move forward in a more intentional way with that new information toward a new path. So I highly recommend you just take a moment today, put this on pause or make sure you do it after this so it happens, and do an energy impact matrix. So you look at what are the tasks that really fill me up, that really move the business or my team or my career forward. That's the top right quadrant. And then the bottom left quadrant is that energy draining stuff, the stuff that you hate to do, that isn't worth much, but somebody has to do it, or somebody told you once that to run this team or to run this business, this needs to get done. That's the soul sucking, non needle moving work. So once you have, say, your few high level desire zone activities and your few low level drudgery zone activities, then you ask, what can I get rid of from the drudgery zone so that I can spend more time in the desire zone? The stuff that I can only do, the stuff that really fills me up and makes an impact, the stuff that I am not prioritizing because I'm too busy in the busy work. And then you ask, what can I get rid of? What can I eliminate? What can I automate? What can I delegate from that lower quadrant so that I'm freeing up time for the stuff that really lights me up, that only I can do, that truly moves me forward? So that's your first step into loving your Mondays. And I promise when you are actually getting in the time to do that stuff that you love, you're going to look forward to work so much more because it's going to feel so much more fulfilling with that space created. And so, step number two to really loving a Monday again and your work is to actually review how you are investing your time. Now, this has never happened to me, but how many of you run from a Friday into a crazy weekend and then into a Monday and you never took a breath, took a beat to say, how'd that go? Oh, that felt really stressful. Oh, that didn't feel great. I wonder why. So I highly recommend you set aside 15 to 20 minutes to ask these questions because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Yet when we run from week to week, not taking a moment to learn from the prior week, we really find that it's Groundhog's Day. It's on repeat. It's another stressful day. It's another busy day. It's another day not feeling like I'm getting where I'm going. But if you set aside 15 to 20 minutes, sometime between a Friday afternoon and a Monday morning, you really get an opportunity to say, what went well this week? What are some wins? What can I celebrate? What can I acknowledge that I moved forward? And then you ask, what worked and what didn't? And why? How far did I get on those weekly goals? And what prompted that? Did I crush it? Why? Did I not crush it and I didn't move anything forward? And then what would you keep, improve, start, or stop so that you can optimize the next week? Again, this reflection is so important because if we don't reflect on what happened, we're missing the opportunity to learn and do it better. So if you're running at a breakneck pace and you wonder why you're running at a breakneck pace, it's because you haven't taken a minute to stop and breathe and ask, but what if it could be different? But how could it be different? But what could I do? What's my role in this so that I can slow it down and make it feel better and make it be more effective? There's a whole episode on the weekly preview where I walk you through it and I give you a template to do this. I will link to that in the show notes, but I highly recommend you go check that out because incorporating this practice is truly a game changer when it comes to optimizing how you invest your time. All right. And the third and final way to start loving Mondays again is to make sure you block time for the most important work. Anybody heard of the 80-20 rule? Right? It's this idea that 20% of the work we do produces 80% of our results. And this applies to so many different areas in our life. 20% of our clients are likely producing 80% of our revenue. 20% of the time we spend with our loved ones is likely producing 80% of the feelings that they have, right? So, what is the 20% of activities that you do in your business for your team, for your career, that is producing 80% of your results? In the book, 10x is easier than 2x by Dr. Benjamin Hardy, that I'm rereading right now, he talks about when we think of incremental gains, we think of just creating the new future based on our past, right? And just incrementally upping a little bit. And so if I'm just going to make an incremental gain, then I only need to improve a little bit. I can likely keep 80% of what I'm doing, or even 90% of what I'm doing, and just swap out the 10. But his mind shifting theory is that if you want to go 10x, you can only keep 5 to 10% of the things that you're doing. And 80 to 90% of what you're doing needs to change. So when we look at the activities that you do on the daily or weekly, what are the ones that are truly moving the needle? If you could only do 2 or 3 things in your business that have the biggest impact, what are they? Right? And again, in step 1 here, we talked about which ones of those fill you up. But if you could only do 2 or 3 of those things, which are the ones that are going to have the biggest impact toward your growth? And then you look at your calendar and you schedule time blocks to make sure that actually happens. So again, so often we let the urgent get in the way of the important. So step 3 here is to time block the things that are most important that are moving the business forward, right? I follow a 5 daily non-negotiable. And those are the things that I absolutely positively know need to get done every day to move me as a human forward, to become the kind of parent, the kind of partner, the kind of friend, daughter, sister, business owner, woman having an impact on the world. These are the things that I need to do every day. So, what are the things that you need to do every day? And then take the next step and actually schedule them into your calendar and protect them. Because just because you put it in there and then you see it come up and someone wants a meeting doesn't mean the stuff's going to happen. You need to honor those boundaries, keep those commitments to yourself, because those time blocks and honoring them, making sure you actually do what you say you're going to do, is what builds integrity, what builds trust, what builds confidence, so that you can become the person who has the things you want to have in life. And you'll notice that as you start honoring those things, you're showing up better in that time. You're building that trust. And the business will grow. The team will grow. The career will grow because you're focused on the most important work. Yeah. Okay, so those are your 3 steps to go from hating your Mondays and really feeling overwhelmed to loving a Monday, to feeling fulfilled with your work and excited to get up and start the business. All right. They are doing an energy impact audit to really see which activities you love and charge your battery. Doing a weekly preview so you can get an idea of what went well and what didn't, and what you can change moving forward to reflect and optimize your time. In step 3, time block those 20% activities that are giving you 80% of your results and honor those so you truly look forward to the work because you're going to be doing the most important, impactful. All right, I'm going to share with you that 15-minute practice here in a minute that's going to shift your fulfillment in your career, your team, your business. But first, if you're here and you're listening to this, it might be the reason you're not loving your Mondays or looking forward to your weeks is that you are keeping tasks that you don't need to do. Maybe you know there are things on your plate that you need to delegate and let go of, but you just can't let go of control, or you feel your team is too busy, or you say you can't afford to delegate right now. I am the best in the world at helping people create a calendar. It doesn't make them feel overwhelmed. That helps them focus on the most meaningful, impactful work and still helps the business grow, still helps those things that you think you can't let go of get done, but you can still feel fulfillment in growing the business without being the one to do them. So if delegation is where you struggle, please reach out. Head over to Instagram. I'm at jenna.piche, Piche, and just DM me delegation. And I'll come back and we can talk about the areas that you might need to let go of so you can truly free yourself up to grow the business, to grow the career that you know in your heart you are meant to have. There's something getting in your way. Please give me the honor of helping you break through that hurdle so you can live into the kind of career and business you've always dreamed of. I truly look forward to the honor of helping you grow in a meaningful way through delegation. All right, and if you stuck around this long, it's likely because you wanted the 15-minute practice that's really going to help you look forward to your work every week and get so much fulfillment from it. And the practice is this. As part of your weekly preview, break out your journal and ask, what does the version of me that I'm becoming do every day? Now, this is really important because when we set big goals for our life, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our standards or our systems. So, what are the sorts of practices that you do every day right now? And how do those compare to the version of you you're working on becoming? See, so many of us think that this growth happens by accident, that if I just show up and go through the motions, it's going to happen, but it doesn't. We have to be intentional. So, as you're thinking about the kind of person who has accomplished this big goal that you have set, ask, what are the sorts of things that that person does every day once they've accomplished that goal? Do they work out every morning? Do they spend a certain amount of time with their kids or prioritize family dinners? Do they prioritize certain activities in a day? Do they have certain non negotiables? And then each week you ask yourself, how am I doing? Am I doing the sorts of activities that I need to do to raise my floor, to raise my standards such that when that person shows up, it's not going to be any surprise to me because I am acting every day as if I am already that person, doing those practices so that those goals just become inevitable and that life feels so fulfilling when you're so excited to get back to because you have been reflecting all along. You see, this growth journey takes such leaps and bounds when we reflect on where we are and see the kind of person we want to become. But be real and honest with ourselves about the steps we need to take to get there. And that's the extra 5%. That's what most people are not doing. So I invite you at least once a week to break out that journal and ask, what are the sorts of things that that future version of me is doing every day? And am I doing them? And then be real with yourself and make some changes. And then it will feel like your success is inevitable. All right, with that, friends, get out there, go enjoy your Monday. I know I am going to. I'd love to know what you took away, what you loved, and please share it with your friend if you think that they could benefit from this conversation. All right, until next time, cheers to the amazing things you're going to create, to the fulfillment in your business and your life. I'm rooting for you.